3 months at the Theater of Dreams. We've seen coach Ruben Amorim's hair turn so much grayer. He's even admitted that he's aged 10 years in just a few months of leading this team. That shows the immense pressure at Manchester United. Just not winning, or doing something out of the ordinary, becomes a talking point across all media. Even bringing in new players is difficult. But the Portuguese strategist has to make decisions to trim the squad, leaving the Red Devils thinner than ever. Truly, while there are still some things to be desired, coach Ruben Amorim is really brave when he gave up the happiness at Sporting Lisbon to take on one of the most volatile environments in Europe, Manchester United. At this point, many people believe that sacking Erik ten Hag to appoint Ruben Amorim was a mistake by the Old Trafford club. Although the Portuguese strategist has many remarkable achievements at Sporting Lisbon, and helped the team beat Man City in the UEFA Champions League with a very convincing style of play, that's still not enough for him to overcome the challenges at Manchester United. They haven't improved at all, but have gotten even worse, as this group is having its worst home record since the 1893-1894 season, along with a very low goal difference. Meanwhile, the coach born in 1985 also has the lowest win rate and a number of other disappointing stats, and as a result has been the subject of countless criticisms recently. Are Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos too confident in coach Ruben Amorim? Or is this just a frantic plan after seeing Erik ten Hag lose control of this team? Or could it be said that the 40-year-old manager is the only one who accepts the current situation of the Red Devils, that is, using the available resources, and not being able to buy more people due to financial problems? Taking over a troubled club in the middle of the season, without much time to get to know each other, to train, but going straight into competition with a tight schedule, with a frequency of 2 to 3 days a game, not to mention applying a completely new scheme to the players. With such difficulties, it's difficult for the former Sporting Lisbon captain to bring immediate success. And he has to carry out a workforce cleaning to stabilize the team's salary fund. I am happy that I don't have to analyze Manchester United. Let Ruben Amorim take care of it. We are ready, and I understand this team very well. This is Ruud van Nistelrooy's statement before the 4th round of the FA Cup. And it also shows the harsh reality that coach Ruben Amorim still needs to analyze Manchester United instead of focusing on studying the opponent. Knowing yourself and knowing your enemy is 100 battles without loss. But when you don't know the personnel in your hands, how can you understand the opponent to have a coping plan? Not to mention that he also has to solve the problem of the workforce, not being able to shop freely in the winter market, but instead having to push away names that do not meet the requirements. So that the force that was already thin is now seriously short. I can't get Marcus to see football the way I want him to. I also can't get him to train the way I want him to. Sometimes, a very good player under one coach, but working with another teacher becomes a completely new person. I just hope Rashford and Unai Emery can find common ground, because he is a very talented player. The problem is that some players can't adapt to my philosophy, while others can. We're trying to build the right team. This is normal in football. The important thing is that I affirm that this is my decision. Just like Tyrell Malacia and Antony left with the lone decision, even if there is no additional personnel. Yes, the bitter sharing of the Portuguese strategist has revealed the difficult situation he faces at the Old Trafford club. Cleaning up the workforce is a necessity, because in fact, keeping Rashford, Malacia or Antony is unlikely to improve the results. But when the Red Devils squad is thin in both quantity and quality, the push must go hand in hand with buying new players. But in the end, the results were not both ways. Before officially taking over the hot seat at the Theater of Dreams, the coach born in 1985 was shared by the leaders about the difficult situation of this team. That is, the prospect of not being able to shop freely, unless players with high salaries are pushed away, as well as no longer contributing much. And this was mentioned once again when talking about Manchester United's situation in the winter transfer window. I know that when I take on this job, I will have to face pressure from the results. When I took the lead in the team, I looked at the schedule, assessed the squad and decided not to change too much mid-season without new players. But that brings a big risk to the coach. However, I have a clear plan for what I want to do, and I am willing to take this risk, because I believe it will ultimately bring good results. But I'm not naive. I have repeatedly said that football is a sport that depends on results. And we are currently in a difficult situation. What I feel is that the club is being very careful. Everyone understands the urgency of the current situation, but does not want to repeat the mistakes of the past. This time, the team will consider carefully before making a transfer decision. We're taking some risks, but that's the path the club wants to take. I want players with the right qualities, and are gradually changing from now on. In addition to being willing to face all difficulties, Coach Ruben Amorim always bravely takes all responsibility if the results are not as expected. He does not run away or implicitly complain about not being able to buy new players as expected, but only mentions learning about each factor in the current squad, helping them to bring more positive results. Although the attack is still a big worry when Rasmus Højlund has seriously declined in form. We have also seen Joshua Zirkzee or Garnacho make progress in the past time. At the same time, the 40-year-old coach also experimented with many positions to help his students regain their form, as well as feel as comfortable as possible. That is pushing Kobbie Mainoo to play higher instead of forcing him to regulate the style of play that is not a strength. Given the circumstances, would any coach agree to lead Manchester United? Or will they continue to accompany Erik ten Hag? Or turn Van Nistelrooy from a legend into an object of much criticism like his old teammate Ole Solskjaer used to receive after the first sublimation with the Red Devils? The former captain of Sporting Lisbon himself also wanted to wait until the end of the season before joining the Old Trafford team, because there would be more preparation time, as well as being able to buy new players suitable for his system. But in the end, he accepted the risk and challenge to try to revive the tattered, poor-performing team both in terms of performance and spirit. Then now, Coach Ruben Amorim has to admit that he looks like a 50-year-old rather than a 40-year-old on his recent birthday. Because of the stressful time at the Theatre of Dreams, while continuously suffering criticism, even calls for dismissal from fans, as well as former players. Because Manchester United is only getting worse. We're fighting to keep our jobs until the summer. I understand that when I take on this job, I have to accept the risks that come with the results. Changing everything in the middle of the season without any new contracts is a risky decision for a coach. However, from day one, I have always had a clear direction of what I want to do. I'm not as naive as a newcomer and understand that this is a sport that places emphasis on results and the team is in a difficult stage. I made this decision. We are taking risks to move towards change. Now Manchester United will have more time to train and improve the team. I want a model player that fits my philosophy, and the process of change has begun. The sharing of the Portuguese strategist shows that he is well aware of the pressure he is under. But the top priority is still to find the most suitable solution for the team, rather than waiting for something from the transfer market or a miracle. Maybe he's frustrating fans with a vague playing style or a 3 central defender system that isn't suitable for the Premier League. But at least the teacher born in 1985 is a very brave person. Instead of enjoying the fun every week in his hometown, he accepts turning himself into the focus of media attention around the world, where negative comments often appear. After the recent winter market, we can see that coach Ruben Amorim knows there will be risks. But he accepts and continues with what he has in his hands. While Ineos also achieved its goal of reducing the wage fund, improving finances to aim to buy in the summer. But in the end, on-field performance is what matters most in the remainder of this season. Manchester United are still fighting in all 3 arenas. And if the Premier League no longer has hope for the top 4 or the European Cup group, will the FA Cup and Europa League be a lifeline, or a path to the future for the 40-year-old coach along with his students? That's what we can only verify when this season closes. At the moment, Manchester United will continue to bring disappointing performances, not meeting the requirements, and the former captain of Sporting Lisbon will continue to be the focus of all criticism. But he still bravely faces it all to help Manchester United improve their performance. The victory over Leicester City in the 4th round of the FA Cup has partially relieved the pressure, and coach Ruben Amorim's teachers and students will have an additional week to prepare before returning to the away match to North London to face Tottenham Hotspur. The schedule has been slightly extended, and hopefully signs of recovery will also appear at the Theatre of Dreams.